This is a horror game podcast. It is meant for mature audiences. It may contain adult language, violence, and sexual themes, as well as shocking revelations. Viewer discretion is advised. Investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I will be playing the Pulp Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Thom Raley. The campaign is Two Headed Serpent. It was written by Paul Fricker, Scott Dorward, and Mathew Sanderson. It's available directly from Chaosium and also from Drive-Thru RPG. I am the Keeper of Arcane Lore, and this is episode 8. A recap will be given by Conlighton as his hero, Goose DuPont. So, without any further delays, let's continue our journey into the darkness. Go ahead.
We finally returned back to the United States, having gone through some horrifying yet exhilarating adventure in South America. Though our numbers are the same on the return journey, the composition of the party is not the same. Dr. Ursini went to his eternal sleeping place, but we reawakened Tiranish, who we mistook for royalty at first, but she seems to be more of a scientist of her people. Tiranish has been very helpful and supportive about my upcoming change, and she has informed me I will look more or less the same on a casual glance, as long as I don't get hurt or lose a limb or anything else bad happens to me. Not that I need to worry about anything like that happening. Caduceus seems like a place where one can relax and doesn't need to keep one's head on a swivel. I don't foresee any of us getting into hot water again, so that should be fine. I did hope to see my brother, who was just released from prison, before I totally look different so as not to unsettle him. I haven't seen him since his release, and I'd like to catch up with him without him freaking out about my new scaly skin. Same goes for my father and sister, of course. There is so much to do and learn though. Tiranish has promised me to teach me how to shed my skin and crawl into someone else's, which many in my field would have killed for. She seems to be getting sick of being cooped up in here, and I'm trying to get Frank DeLuca to give her some more freedom. There hasn't been a person I've not managed to charm yet to get my way, so we'll see how that goes. He does seem like a tough nut to crack. Everyone else is settling in HQ. I've seen Dr. Harrow and Fern in the library, digging through the many books that are stored there, trying to get some translation of the scrolls going or some other odd job. Buzz was told to try and get a certain machine working, some kind of spectrometer of some sorts. He was given his own weight and instructions to read up on, to get familiar with it. Stoney got back with a few bruises on him, he was off boxing, I guess. And Dr. Green, if he is even worthy of the title, seems to be even better than me at subterfuge. He had us all fooled during our trip about his linguistical knowledge, but the mask is slipping, and I'm not the only one who's noticed. I'm writing this as I've just left a meeting where we learned more about this mole that the organization was plagued with. It seems to have been a Rose Meadham, the daughter of Caduceus founder Joshua Meadham. Although, with learning about skin changers and people slipping into someone's skin as one slips into a new suit, it's hard to be sure that it was truly her or if she was murdered and replaced. She spied on Caduceus from 1920 to 1928, so regardless of what she is, she must have been an expert in covert ops to be posing as Caduceus, as Joshua's own daughter for that long. She's gone over to Inner Night and made it into a real threat for Caduceus, getting them more organized, supplying them with information, and all sorts of things. I'm quite happy to be in the center again of double crosses, moles, spies, and all the thrills that it brings. I hope that my powers will soon manifest and I'll be able to master them, so I can finally become a true new agent or spy.
Excellent. So you're actually still in that meeting, and Shabiro has said it was Rose Meadham. Now, I have to thoroughly warn you, this is a very delicate subject, especially with the upper echelons, especially Jacob, Joshua, sorry. Um, don't mention her name. Um, he'll fucking lose it. You have any more questions?
How did you find out she was the mole? And how did you know she was turned back then?
Turned? No. No, it was her.
She was the founder of everything to begin with?
Well, she was his daughter. She was right along with him. This happened when they went on to I mean, she was an absolutely loyal agent, but they went on a mission to root out some of the inner night, and her entire team was killed. And when she came back, apparently she had changed, and nobody could tell. I mean, it was her. Um, I don't think a changeling could possibly have known the things that she knew or acted. It was her. She just changed her loyalties for some horrible reason, and I mean, it was she left after sabotaging quite a few of our operations. A lot of people died, and it was only after she had disappeared that we kind of put two and two together, and I mean, Joshua Meadham lost it for a while, um, and as a result, he has gone 10 times stronger as much as he can to his opinion is, regardless of whether it's his daughter or not, the Internet's now even more dangerous than they were, and the situation's much worse. So that's what tier 3 is working on.
Was
Um,
there was there anything in particular about the mission that she went on where everybody died but her?
I actually don't know all of the details.
Oh, okay.
So
Now, was she working closely with anyone here that's still here?
everyone, oh, well, yeah, but security is much higher than it used to be. I think you remember in your orientation package, there's a vetting process, and you should understand at tier 2, you're being watched. They're keeping an eye on you. They're looking for behaviors, for changes of behavior, especially. And honestly, I don't think this has anything to do with actually the serpent people. It has more to do with this faction of the serpent people and how dangerous they are.
Something extraordinary.
Tyrannish seems to be a rather nice individual.
Must have been something extraordinary has happened, because even if Inner Night turned her to her side or whatever you want to call it, she's now the head of Inner Night. That's more
Well,
than just becoming a double agent. That's
yeah,
something else.
what you got to kind of figure is that the inner night was they've always been there, but they were completely disorganized. They existed in small cells here and there. They didn't really have any interaction with one another. They were the ideology that they wanted to take over the world, but they had no means or organization to do it until Rose met him. And she seems to have organized them. And knowing the structure of knowing how to organize things, that's Rose. And she grew up in this company. She knows how to run a company. So now she's doing that with them. And it makes us more vulnerable, and it makes it more dangerous, because the internet used to be pretty easy to figure out. They're kind of dumb, but not anymore. And that's why things have ramped up over the last couple of years.
And their goal is to take over the world in the name of this Thogua, or
If it's their original plan still, it's to wipe out everything that's not them. I think their idea is that they would hide underground and poison the surface and kill everything. And then once everything was dead, they'd come back up and take over. It's kind of a dumb plan,
I
but
was going to say their ecology apparently is not their scientific supremacy.
the thing is, we don't know if Rose has changed their
It
their
sounds like she
plan.
may have. Do you think there's a chance she may have be experiencing something similar that you are, Goose? That maybe she found something that may have
Well,
changed her and gave her a little bit more initiative to change her.
My physiology is changing, but my mind is basically the same. My allegiances or anything are exactly the same as before.
Maybe not everybody will take it the same way that you do.
That's
I
true.
mean, I
We
for
just
one,
have an
I'm not sure how I would take it if I knew that I was becoming some sort of, pardon the phrase, abomination.
Well,
and he'll kind of look at you not very pleasantly. But I'm also, and I'll say, I'm also wondering, there would have to be more places to where they made these emeralds for that to be true, because this temple was just uncovered. It's not like we uncovered it, it went back for a few years and it came back, or they uncovered it
you're
and came
you're
back
you're
up.
talking about hybridization, which you're currently slightly in the process of. There are
Yes.
other ways to cause hybridization. Um, Apparently, the ancient serpent people had all kinds of chemicals and things they had worked on. Um, I know that Dr. Gonsalves downstairs has done some research into that area. Mr. Bellamy, you're working on the viral analyzer currently.
yeah, trying to figure out how to get it aligned to, do what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, Dr. Gonsalves has his fingers in a lot of pies, so to speak. He's the consummate scientist. Um, yeah, I think Mr. DuPont, Dr. Gonsalves also might be able to assist you in some way in speeding up the process. Um, though we don't know anything about the crystals or how they work.
It would be
Um,
very interesting to learn more about that. Is anyone working on them currently, or
no, we've got such a backlog of things to look at. Have you gone through the artifacts room? There's quite
I
a few
personally have not yet.
oddities.
Oh, really?
Yeah, some of them we know what they do, some of them we don't.
It's
they
rather
need to be,
interesting. I'm sure that would give some sort of insight into quite a bit of history. I mean,
Well,
I'm
we've
rather
got
excited.
scrolls and
That's
we've got the
interesting.
libraries. go through the libraries. I've seen Dr. Harrow uh, working on the scrolls. Yeah, I mean, we aren't a super institution. We're just this building. So we store the stuff, we keep it safe, and occasionally scientists might get his hand on something to fiddle with. But you're welcome here. You've got access. Anything that you discover will help.
So you say, Mr. Shapiro, that you don't have details of the mission she was on, she who must not be named, when she lost her entire team, but you do have the impression that she met this Sathagua herself?
That was her father's impression, that he knew his daughter. The only thing that could possibly turn her would be an encounter with this entity. We don't deny that there is an entity called Sathagua. We deny that it's a god.
I suppose that if this entity, whatever it is, had said something to her that was very convincing, had suggested to her that its motives were good and it was ultimately in the right, that she would have simply have come to her father at his organization and explained that, rather than operating in secrecy for 8 years.
Yeah, we don't know what it said to her, what it did to her. We know that it's the motivation she now has. She's trying to destroy everything.
Do we know where it comes from?
The dark, the depths. It's supposed to be deep down underground somewhere.
Hmm.
And are there current efforts to locate
Her? Yes.
her? Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah. Any lead that they have, they're going to pursue.
Is that like a tier 3 job?
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
nothing that would be in our prerogative anytime soon.
Not anytime soon. No. That's why, quite honestly, we're not really having this meeting right now. I just intrinsically trust you, and I trusted Ursini, so none of you look like you're acting like the inner knight. First of all, they're stupid. You guys aren't stupid.
I mean,
And
so I guess is our role just to kind of wait for a job, just to kind of busy ourselves until
yeah, until you're
Yeah.
assigned something. And at the moment, I'm your handler.
So do you assign, or does it come down to you? Or
It'll come down to me from up above. For now, I mean, you've got the viral analyzer. I know the guys on 8 are working on some of the modifications you made on the radio. I know Dr. Jude is translating. I know that Stoney's been working out. You're all, and of course, Mr. DuPont is in the process of what may be a psychological difficulty. I recognize that. We do have people you can talk to. Miss Meadows is working on some interesting stuff that I gave her. Some toxins. We don't know if they're plant or they might be plant. The plants tend to do a lot of things, and then there's Mr. Green, who we haven't found exactly what we need him to do yet.
Well,
So
I am at your disposal whenever you shall need.
so
I could
do you
I
have
Other
can
than that,
break down the basic symbol system of Nactal if you'd like. It's quite a fascinating language with a number of unusual features. I'm not, of course, professional, but what I have learned is astonishing. And the historical implications themselves are mind-blowing. So anytime you'd like to go over that, obviously, once you had the basics, you could probably race ahead of me in translation.
Oh, yes, we could definitely do in that. As a matter of fact, I might even be able to give you a few pointers. Yeah, so whenever you feel up to it.
Brilliant.
So you say
Well, other
there's
than that,
maybe a way to
okay,
accelerate Goose's condition? Because our plan right now is just to zap him again.
well, if proceed with your experiments, and if you come to an impasse, then talk to Dr. Gonsalves. I believe you've already met him. Yes, you did meet him downstairs.
Yeah. So I think I'm taking a break from the viral machine and going to see if we can figure out how to reactivate this emerald and the thing and to give Goose another zap and see if we can just accelerate the pain process to, just a few hours instead of weeks.
There's a lab downstairs. And if you need something, talk to Connors. They can get you anything that you might think you need. Any equipment or.
We should also have our distinguished guest. She should be able to help with that. That technology is, more
Well,
familiar to her than others.
Tyrannish is a special case. We need to be cautious with her. We don't know what we're really dealing with there, but you do have access to her. We'll try to make her as comfortable as possible.
Just a
Gentlemen.
quick question as well.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
yes.
Do you have a back entrance here or something? So say I fully transformed and I don't look quite as human anymore. I've taken a few bonks here and there and my scales are all black. Might not be well if I just walk into the front entrance here.
No. The
So just something to keep in mind for the future. It's not there yet.
let's see. So, like any kind of building, our building does have multiple doors. It's got back doors. It's got places. It's got loading docks. It's got places where garbage comes in and out. The main lobby is the main entrance, but you certainly don't have to go in and out that way. However, those places are still viewed. There's still people there, so they'd likely see you. This is assuming, as you say, that you've transformed to the point where you don't look. We might be able to help you there too. Talk to Tyrannish about that. There's also other ways. I'm not sure if there's an exit through the sub basement or not. I can find that out for you. I don't know the architecture, but there might be a way out.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, better to be, conscious of these things ahead of time instead of figuring it out as we go. But thanks.
I'm sure a large coat should suffice, though. I mean, no one would look at you that closely that you
They
couldn't.
can't.
Yeah.
Well,
if it's
he's definitely not going to grow to her size. We've never seen a serpent person quite as big as her. I think she's from an earlier eon.
All right.
All right. If there's nothing else, as I say, you have access to anything. Take advantage. There's training. There's whatever you need.
Well, I do thank you so much for your time.
And I've got your communication device code. So if I need you, I will call you.
I'm gonna probably mess around with those a little bit at some point and see if I can improve the range on those too.
Cool.
Idle hands.
You have a lot of projects, but you gotta.
I do.
Find
what
your
do you
time.
know? What do you know about flying spheres? Because that's another thing on the horizon. Anything in your library about that?
No, actually.
I'll keep an eye out while I'm digging around in there. I still want to see if we can rejuvenate that fire squirting device as well.
Yeah.
Seemed like an awfully convenient thing for its size.
Fire gun. There are some cartridges down in the archives. I believe there's another fire gun in there too. That is technology that has been used.
Excellent. It was very useful against a bunch of mindless serpents. I don't know what it would do against a humanoid sort, but Lloyd
Right.
somehow figured out while the rest of us were trying to skirt around this sea of poisonous snakes that to get toward a bright, shiny gem, he could just borrow one of those fire guns and clear a path with little,
Most animals don't like fire.
I was operating under that suspicion anyway.
proved to be the
Even
case.
strange alien entities don't like fire much. Unless, they're part of it. All right, gentlemen and lady. You know where my office is if you need anything. And he gets up and walks away and leaves you guys alone.
Well, that was a rather enlightening meeting.
I feel sorry for old Meadham. It seems like the shock of a lifetime. I wonder if he wasn't so emotionally deranged, if you will, that he just guessed that his daughter had met an alien entity from the deepest bowels of the earth, when that, in fact, seems unlikely. We know, after all, that most things people worship don't exist. And no
Well,
one else survived.
that and how did she get a hold? I mean, I know the family has money, but certainly he would have put a hold on all of her accounts once he realized what was happening. How is she getting finances to be able to do the thing that she's doing?
Oh, transferring money would be of no issue, I would imagine.
And she
Would
had
he
8 years as a spy. She
Yeah,
got
I
sucked
mean,
away quite a bit as a trusted agent and daughter.
Now, how well of an accountant she might be, that would be an easier way of tracing her. I mean, following the money is the easiest way or so I've heard of finding and locating such individuals.
Plus, once you have like a starting budget or something, getting more money is easy. It's like the initial sum that you need to get. After that, the money
Well,
just makes itself.
yeah, Dr. Green, I mean, are you as good as reading bank books as you are ancient languages?
Uh, Maybe not as much. I'm not too unfamiliar. I did go to college after all. Um,
I mean, I like your point, follow the money.
well, I'm glad that I can contribute so positively to this conversation, Fern.
It's also the case that this Internight organization, being as elderly as it is and hidden, and given the riches we saw in Tyrannicious Tower, they might simply have a gold reserve that would stagger the economy if they released it all at once. And so, in the same sense that Goose points out, a few valuable gems and a chunk of gold 40 years ago and some careful management that wouldn't involve a lot of public trading that we could investigate and trace back to its source.
Right, and they have to made some mistakes because if they're as dumb as Dr. Shapiro said, certainly there's a trail.
I'm surprised by his insistence on that. I guess he knows more about the current extent of these people than I do, but the thing they were capable of building all those thousands of years ago, even a fraction of that wisdom, although they have also shrunk in size and so on, maybe even contact with this Tafagua diminishes one over time. Some sort of
If
devil's bargain.
To bring up another point, if they are as simple as he suggested, do you think perhaps that she may have just saw an opportunity to further better herself and struck out on her own and maybe doesn't quite believe in necessarily in this great Sathakua, but perhaps saw a bunch of individuals that could be easily manipulated?
What a jaundiced view of humankind you have, Dr. Green. I'm surprised. As a man of education and culture, you know that there's a better class of people, and I'm sure that Needham's daughter would be one of them, and would never stoop to such base proclivities.
I'd hope not. I mean,
I would
I
hope
I
so,
wouldn't
but
know. She might have had some criminal predilections. We don't know her.
It's
That's
true.
why I was asking about the mission. Like something had to have happened on the mission
Yes, I
that
wonder if Shapiro wasn't entirely clear about what he does know.
because and I'm kind of veering off into Dr. Green's modality of thinking here, but um, her entire group died except for her.
Yeah.
That seems to be a little suspicious.
Well, no. If she's undermined numerous missions since then, she may be responsible for any number of deaths,
Yeah.
which is why I guess maybe we should think up a code word for her so we don't accidentally mention the name Rose and send the old man into a tizzy.
I
I'd be
mean,
surprised if we found ourselves an audience of the old man at any point. It seems like lots of levels of separation.
I
We
see no
were
reason why
warned
we.
just the same.
Yeah.
do we know much about the Sithugua and its cult and how it operates and what it promises and things like that?
That seems like a very useful course of library study that I can start to work on. And again, this is something that Green could surely help with. I'm sure actually all of us could endeavor to figure that out in
Yeah.
different ways.
Yeah, because real or not, what I've found is the power of people's belief in a thing is often more powerful than the thing itself. So,
Well, this group must have had some business dealings in the past and left some sort of trail behind. Not everyone that they've spoken to would probably be held so dear as they would like to be quiet. I mean, with a little gentle persuasion, you might be able to, if we had anywhere to look, be the easiest way would probably be to start looking at people who might have been left behind. Any like reasonable dealings they may have had if they, uh, let's say for weapons, perchance, if they had to contact a weapons dealer. A weapons dealer, I would imagine their top priority would be money. So it should be relatively easy to perchance maybe lubricate the wheels of machinery that way into finding more information.
Oh,
Although there
unless
are,
he's a true believer. People in a cult might have a certain expertise, but they do it all for the cult. And
They have,
it's
but
a hard to get information out of such people. But it's
well,
all
what about those
definitely an
that
avenue
aren't
we can
part of the
try.
cult?
well, perhaps
Because they would have,
Green, with her organizational skill, when they find a arms dealer, for example, that's useful, they convert him to the cult rather than simply paying him off. And then they don't have to worry about him being paid by another agency. There's also, I'm told, honor among thieves, an illicit arms dealer who blabs about his illicit arms deals is probably going to lose business pretty quickly,
Or his life.
or his life. You know, it strikes me, I'm thinking about how to find their cells. And presumably we don't know any of their hidey holes, or there'd be some sort of tactical strike. But
Mhm.
of course, everyone knows where this base is. It's interesting that they didn't choose to build a second headquarters somewhere that the younger Meadham wouldn't know about.
you think they have a front set up just as Caduceus does?
It's if they have any sort of numbers and material that they need to deal with, it's very useful to have an external side. Yes.
Well, it might be useful to talk to Teraniche also to see exactly what environment her people feel most comfortable in, because they might gravitate towards, certain areas.
Well, the civilization was largely one of its many phases during which it was wiped out was the Ice Age. Didn't merely take the dinosaurs out of the question and give us mammals a chance, but it was very hard on them simply because obviously they don't generate their own heat. Underground, where the heat is stable and tolerable, or in warm climes, is best. Certainly, the jungles of Bolivia were pretty toasty.
Weren't most of the ancient kingdoms also located around the equator? So that does support your
Indeed.
theory. I would say that that's the best place to start. Only a quite big place to start.
Another thing, I would think that they would want to stay within a rather largely populated area. That would
Well,
be my
if they
initial
were
guess.
if they were very disorganized before uh, the daughter, let's say, and she organized them and she all did something that made it one organization instead of little sub things. The logical thing would be that she made a headquarters somewhere, so it would have to be a place that she is familiar with. She knows intimately, is my guess.
But
I'm
this
not
is
sure
all
how
above our
much.
pay grade as well.
I
We
mean
were just
that
told that,
that
that this
that's a fair point too, is exactly what we need to worry ourselves with, or are we just the barrel of a gun that gets pointed in a direction, you know?
I guess that means in our own time that we should just, I guess, follow our own lives and act as normal until Caduceus beckons.
Yeah, I'm going to go get my hands dirty on some things because the books aren't exactly my thing. Apologies to those that the books are their things, but I'm
Right,
gonna
and I got some toxins to go play with.
I,
Eventually, I want to get together with you, Buzz. I'm
I,
I'm thinking I might find some good stuff for us.
I want to talk to you about, because we're not always going to be places where there's just plant life, and I think we found that much to your displeasure, dissolving plants down and throwing them at people is proved effective. So if we could, preload ourselves with some awful stuff. That way, if we're like in the middle of the city where none of that's available, if we could find the stuff that's terrible here and go ahead and bottle it up for our future endeavors, you know. I mean, I know like poison ivy, but I'm sure you know other things that are even worse than that. So,
Well, I got a few ideas.
Gimpy,
Well,
gimpy.
I think I'll then, after this conversation, focus for a bit on any materials I can find in the archives here about Tsathoggua. But you could only spend so many hours looking through boxes and bins of unlabeled material. Goose, I understand there's a club in Midtown, 51st Street or so, called the 21, that's supposed to have the finest food and drink in town. So maybe we can set a point later in the evening to refresh ourselves.
Sounds good. The 21. Always like that place.
8 o'clock.
Sure.
So if anyone else
Tony,
is interested, we could rehash our efforts.
yeah, I can break for a social hour or two later on.
Yeah, they got good victuals there.
I understand they're the finest.
Hmm.
Well, that sounds rather pleasant considering where we just were. It's just really nice to be back.
Stony, are you much of a mechanical sorts type of person?
I've got a little bit of skill with some wrenches.
Yeah, well, I
Um,
always take an extra set of eyes and hands on a machine if you got nothing else going on. Maybe you see something I don't see. And
yeah, unfortunately I'm not very good at in libraries and things like that. It's not really my wheelhouse. But yeah, I'd be happy to help or get in the way. I can always do that.
Yeah. Sometimes getting in the way is what you need.
Great. Um, so Dr. Harrow, go in. Now, in case you don't remember, you've got a library, you've got lots of research material, you've got an archive with things in it. You've also got filing cabinets for Caduceus. You're guessing that 90% of the filing cabinets are probably about Caduceus's fake. Well, it's not really fake, they're humanitarian goals. But you might be able to find out information if you snoop in there.
Mhm.
You don't even know where to start looking for stuff on Tsathoggua. It's
Or how to
not
spell
mentioned
it.
it's not mentioned in any conventional mythology books or anything like that you run across. And you
No,
also think that any of the critical files on the Inner Night are probably not in this library. Yeah,
yeah.
they're in the upper.
I think given a quick search in the library in case they had a file that was indexed TSAG-ish, look around in there, frustrated. I'd like to see if they have a record, probably in the Caduceus files, about uh, the deceased Caduceus employees. If, say, 10 of them went dead all at once about 8 years ago, there might be some
Okay.
hints in that.
Yeah, do library roll would make sense.
The old friend library roll. I have to spend 17 points to make that regular.
Ooh,
I haven't been spending the way my comrades have.
okay.
I'm choking on 99, so
So you're looking around, you finally find a correlation. Well, first thing you find is that a lot of agents have passed away in the service to Caduceus.
mhm.
Most of them seem to be fairly mundane reasons why.
Yeah, but any clusters are interesting because we were told that she betrayed the organization in
Right.
a number of missions. So if there's 6 here and 4 there, that's worth knowing too.
Well, the big cluster of them begins around 1920. Um, and uh, you do find something. It doesn't specifically say what the mission was, but you do notice Rose Meadham's name is on the list. And in 1920, they went on a mission it's written as if it's a medical aid mission, except that it specifically says that they went to the Krubera Cave Complex in Georgia, the country Georgia. And um, nobody except her came back from that mission.
Well, there we go. Cave complex is a natural connection. The timing is good. I don't know much about Georgia. It's one of the Balkanish places. I'll have to figure out something about that. Obviously, if that was the mission that went awry, they'll have sent a team back to look at things, but it's a start. Does it list those that were lost? I don't know if any details of their lives,
Sure,
names
but
and ages, but
their
nothing that.
names, ages,
Yeah.
maybe other missions they were involved in.
Mm.
But it
Well,
was a high priority mission.
uh,
So you can surmise that it was not just a humanitarian aid.
right. Nordic
There
cave
was something
complexes usually have a lot of sick people in them.
right. there was definitely something there that they were trying to.
Yeah. And there was a reason they went, and she couldn't get rid of that information without being somewhat obvious. So maybe there's something in the archive about Cabrera Caves. So that'll be my next stop.
Okay. You're searching through, you find mission records, minor mission records, and when you get to the caves, there's nothing there for that.
Mm.
And if it's following the pattern of all the other filing cabinets, there should have been. But apparently, whatever that mission was, it's either gone or it's upstairs
Mhm.
where you can't get to it.
All right, I think I would be interested in well, I'm gonna pick a handful of missions that have full dossiers. Things that look like, they don't say Kalahari 1924. They say uh, Budapest 1926, where it's much less likely that there's some sort of regular kind of humanitarian aid, and anomalous mission files.
Mhm, mhm.
And pull 3 or 4 of those and just start to look for spore.
Go ahead and do a luck roll on that one.
Despite having spent some, I have passed.
You find things, you can see that they're dealing in some cases with probably coded for the inner night,
Mhm.
but they're very minor, and they're little groups of them that they amount to some hiding in a warehouse, hiding in a building, and they are coded. Once again, it looks like they're all exterminated.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, but it's all coded to make it sound like other things. There's no
Outbreak of
reason why they would.
serpents in the blah blah district.
Right.
Team sent in, successful cleansing kind of thing. Is
Yeah.
there any correlation between the kinds of settings? Something else that would indicate where they tended to be located?
They're always located in areas where there's subterranean bits, let's say basements and things like that. And these are all missions that are prior to Rose Meadham's stuff.
Mhm. They were
So
they were stuck in the
you,
pits until she got things organized.
yeah, you do get the impression that they were not organized, to the point that they didn't even know that other cells existed of their religion, you know.
All right, I'm going to then poke around to see what else I could learn about the Cabrera Caves themselves or other things in Georgia.
Okay, well, we'll leave you on that. Stony, you are going to go with Jack and work on the machine. Buzz, do a luck roll.
Okay. That is a pass. Yep,
Okay.
77. Yep, under 89.
So you guys are working together on this, and Stony's quite helpful because it's hard to work on multiple parts of the machine at the same time. But you're going to spend most of the day. You're going to spend about 6 hours working on the machine. At first, yeah, the problem is somehow obvious. So it's got these like petri dishes in the front of it. And you put a liquid chemical of any kind in there, and it's supposed to analyze it and explain what it is and how to treat it. But at first you're putting things in there like pure water, and you're getting things like anthrax. You put in oil and you're getting urine. and it's not making sense. But after about 6 hours of tinkering with it, you've realized that certain things inside of it seem to be crisscrossed and they're mismatched. And all of a sudden, one of your experiments works. It identifies butter as butter, you know, and it gives you a printout that, or not a printout, but there's like a screen, which is amazing to you because you don't have screens yet. But the type appears on it, and it's a mixture of English and Nakal, but it tells you that it's butter, and it tells you what that it's an emulsion, that it tells you a lot of information about the substance. What would you like to try it on next?
Yeah, so I think whenever we're doing the butter, I'm putting it in, exasperated and like, Stony, just get in there and mess around with it, and
Sure.
and so when it says butter's butter, I'm like, all right, whatever you just did is on the right path. So remember that because it just told me it's butter. Also, now we know the Noctal word for butter because it's giving us both. So that's information we can pass along too.
Nifty.
Make notes, yeah.
Yeah. So
You also realize that part of the manual that you've been given is incorrect. You've begun to rewrite and make notes in the manual that Dr. Gonsalves must have gotten mixed up. Did you want to test it on anything else? Just to keep confirming that it's...
well, Stony, we know that it said, unless you have other ideas, we know that it said that oil was urine, and now we've made a change. Do we want to put some more oil or urine in there and see if it gets it right?
Yeah, we can try something that it failed at,
Yeah.
like you said, and we can also try maybe some other substances that we haven't tried before,
All right,
just to kind of see.
you run some oil through there. I'm gonna step out here and see if I can find some other substance to throw in there and see if it gets it right.
All right, so I'll start off with some whatever kind of oil I got.
the olive oil. And in
Sure.
fact, it gives you back olive oil. You think you're on the right track. Buzz, do a luck roll for me again.
That is also a pass.
Okay. As you are rummaging around looking for other things, you accidentally snag the side of your hand on a piece of sharp metal, and you're bleeding.
Seems like a good time to test some blood. Squeeze that in a
Yeah.
little petri dish. Waste not,
So
you know?
you put the blood in there, and you get the impression that blood is much more complicated than the stuff you've been trying so far. So it starts making noises. You can hear the gears turning and the machine whirring, and it sort of sucks your blood sample down inside and starts making noise. And after about 5 minutes, the reading comes up on the screen, and it gives you certain medical conditions that you may or may not be aware of, and it gives you the proper remedy to get rid of, including multiple formulas and things like that, as readouts that will cure or remove the whatever's in your system.
Interesting. So I hop on the radio. Uh, Goose, you into anything at the moment?
Um, nothing I can't put away for now.
You want to come give some blood?
Sure. Sounds great. And I'll go down and when they're trying to take some blood from me, I'll take off my shoe and take off my sock and say, just cut me here so you don't see the black scales whenever I'm out. Because I'm still full of hope that I'm not gonna get damaged anymore.
Okay.
That's a stony job. It's probably maybe cut a man in a time or two.
Yeah, I
How
can.
about your buck knife?
Yeah, big thing.
All right. You definitely do notice that when you cut Gustav's skin, it's a little harder to cut than you expect. But once you do that, you do notice the edges of the cut. You're not making a big cut, obviously, that the edges of the cut start to turn black. The blood comes out, it's red blood, just like yours. And you put it in the analysis machine, and it seems to take a little longer this time, like around, let's say 10 minutes. And it comes back and says that the individual is a hybrid between serpent and human. It shows you qualities. It's saying that the human blood is completely pure. It's not diseased in any way, nor is the serpentine blood. And that it puts up some formulas that you think describe the way the DNA is changing, but it doesn't say anything about a cure or a reversal or anything like that.
Well, Goose, it looks like you got a clean bill of health.
Yeah. And I mean, you're definitely gonna, I mean, we can't stop it. According to this machine, we can't, fix you.
That's what everybody's been saying, but so I've started to accept this fact already. It seems you got the machine working, so
And on the
this
plus
could
side, we
be
have a bunch of words in Noctal that we now know what they mean. We can give to Dr. Green to start, what is that? Was that thing that stone or
the
something?
Rosetta Stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a lot. I mean, surely as bright as he is with words and stuff, he can do the whole language now. I mean, we have like
Did
30 words at least.
did you notice during our meeting, our handler called him Mr. Green?
Oh, didn't pick up on that.
I did
No.
not either.
I did, but might have
Miss-
just been a small mistake, but who knows?
Do
The
we?
machine suddenly starts making more noise. And after a moment, another readout comes up on the screen, and it's giving you some sort of chemical formulas that it's describing as an accelerant that could be used to progress the hybridization faster. But you don't understand it. It's all in chemical
Yeah, we might
code.
need to get one of the doctors to look at this, but it seems like it's a way to maybe we don't have to zap you again.
I mean, whatever is the least painful route, that's the one I'd prefer.
Oh, yeah, I get that. Well, we'll get this over to either Dr. Green or Dr. Harrow and see if they can make anything of it. The formulas or some of the doctors that are already here, the scientists, but yeah, Stony, thanks. I mean, you whatever you did in there. I mean, it like I said, sometimes you just need a fresh set of eyes and hands to bump something around, and I think we got it going.
Yeah, just happy to help. I don't know what it did, but happy to. It's working.
Yeah.
So, Fern, where are you?
She went down to the lab to start analyzing the toxins. I
Hmm.
don't know if they were able to get some cadaver samples for her to experiment with at this time, but that's what she wanted to do. And then is the lab like all in the same area? Like, would she just be easily able to go over to where they're working?
The lab seems to be on one level above where Buzz is, but roughly in the same area. Like if you went through your floor, you would be where Buzz is.
Oh, okay.
There's an elevator right outside. Um, you're looking at these various toxins and things under the microscope, and you can definitely see that there are trapped spores. Uh, that sometimes happens when things are collected and just the natural spores in the air. And in some cases, you can identify where the toxins originate. If you're having trouble identifying those spores, they may in fact be from another part of the world that isn't even there anymore, depending on how old they are.
Right. Well,
Something prehistoric.
I think she wants to take the extrapolated spores and see if Buzz has his machine working yet.
Okay. Yeah. So you come downstairs to where Buzz and the others are. We'll do that in a second. Dr. Green, where are you? Or Lloyd?
No, doctor is correct. I need to make sure that I correct everybody that says that now. But I actually want to go spend some personal time. I'm going to walk outside of the office, and I've been gone. How long were we gone? It's a couple of weeks, correct? The destination to get there and back, and the time in.
Yeah, it's a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Couple of weeks. Okay. I I imagine I have some friends or contacts in this regard. I want to go see I want to go see like a local bookie.
Okay. Um, you tell me what's his name?
Uh, well, okay. His name's gonna be Jimmy. That's pretty much all we ever know him as is Jimmy.
Jimmy the bookie.
Jimmy the bookie. Yeah.
Okay. As usual, he's busy. Um, you come in and he gives you a glance up like this, and then it's like you
Hey, long time no see. What's been going on?
got some nerve showing up here.
Oh, come on. You know me better than that. Why all the hostility? Come
Did
on.
you
We're
come into some
practically.
money?
Uh, I'm working on it. Actually, that's kind of why I was coming here to talk to you to see if you'd heard anything that was going on in what's been going around. I haven't been around for the last few weeks or so, and I was just trying to see what's, any local gossip, anything that's been going around, anything that, I don't know, anyone else coming in any money? Anybody else might have had like a little bit of an inheritance from like a dearly departed uncle, anything like that that you might have heard of.
No, not that I know of. Nothing like that.
Come on. Nothing going on with the big shots. Got a friend that
Oh,
had a little bit of a discussion in regards to Mr. Bonanno. Anything going off in that realm with
shit, dude.
anybody?
Don't bring that name up in public. No, they're
The big
they're
B.
they're just honest businessmen.
Oh yeah, I was just wondering about anything that, any investments or any ventures they might have had. I don't know, just what's been going on the last about a month or so. Been a while
Well,
since I've been over here to talk to you.
I can't really think of anything serious going on. Uh, there's been a lot of them out lately watching stuff. Um, where have you been?
Well, I actually I went to go visit one of my relatives back out in LA, and I've been gone for it's been about 3 weeks, a month now, something like that. It's just my aunt. My aunt, she's not doing the best. I think they said she has consumption. I was scared as fuck to go near her, I can tell you that. She wouldn't stop coughing. It was pretty awful.
Huh. No, that's too bad.
Yeah. But so nothing's going around, nothing new, nothing big and bright going around.
He just sort of looks around. He says, like you asking questions you really shouldn't be asking.
What do you mean asking questions I'm not supposed to be asking? I just want to hear the local juicy gossip. Someone's got to go over here and talk to everyone, keep the money rolling in, keep the jobs going.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I got to work. Besides, I think you have a tail.
Is there any way I can look like without like turning around and looking like really stupid? Is there like a mirror or there like glass, anything like that? I can just look behind me and see anything.
Do a luck.
Luck roll. Oh, well, that's gonna be good. I rolled a 14, so that's gonna be yeah.
Yeah, you look in the reflection of something, a piece of metal or something that's up where the bookie is, and you do see that there's somebody outside in a suit smoking. Of course, everybody's in a suit in New York in 1930.
Smoking.
They don't look like a bum, and they don't look like they really should be there. And they're in a position where they can see comings and goings in and out the door. So they must have seen you go in.
I
but
don't
you
recognize
know
them
who they are.
though.
No, you don't recognize them.
If I had to profile this person, do they look like they belong to the Italian mob?
Could be.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it, Jimmy. Oh, and here, I did come into a little bit of money. I'm gonna slide like a $5 bill across to him. Put that towards my tab, towards what I owe.
All right.
I appreciate that. And yeah, tell the kids I said hi.
I will.
Just walk out. Just like I start walking outside, I go and I pat myself down. I reach for a cigarette and I light one up. And I just kind of lean up against the building, trying not to not pay much attention to anybody or anything, and just seeing if he's still watching me.
Yeah. When you do that, you put him in the position where he doesn't want to give himself away. I mean, you can figure that out. And he pretends to kind of wander away, but you notice every once in a while he'll take a glance over his shoulder. He's like waiting for you to go so that he can follow you.
Okay. Okay. So if that's the case, I want to start making my way back to Caduceus,
Okay.
back to headquarters.
And you're 90% sure that he follows you back.
He follows me the entire way.
But he
Before
doesn't go in.
before I get all that way, I want to see if I can like make a turn in an alley and like I don't want to make it look obvious like I'm gonna wait for him or like waylay him. I just want to make it look like I'm going through an alley to take a shortcut to get to the back door to Caduceus.
Okay.
And then I want to wait right there to see if he comes back behind me.
Yeah, he
Just kind
doesn't.
of sitting.
He doesn't follow you.
Okay.
You can think, I mean, your psychology, you think he saw you go down that alley. He thinks that you made him, so he broke off the surveillance.
Okay. Yeah. So I imagine I've been chain smoking at this point. It's been a while since I've had a cigarette since I just now got back. And I just drop it down on the ground and I just stomp it out, readjust my vest, and I head back inside. I imagine this is all taken about an hour or so.
Yeah, and you go back in through the loading dock since there's people working there, and there's you could literally just walk in,
Yeah, I'm just doing this all with confidence. Like I look like I belong here, and I do, but for the most part, I'm just walking.
Well, and there's a foreman, there's somebody who sees you coming in, but they also see you've got a tag, so they don't pay any attention. You're not on their level, so yep,
Yeah.
you're one of the bigger shots going through. And then what do you do once you're back inside?
I'm gonna make my way back upside and see if anyone is anyone doing anything particular. Can I see anyone moving around from the group, or is it just still pretty much me?
Well, when you go upstairs, I don't think there's anybody up there except maybe Dr. Harrow. Yeah, Dr. Harrow's. Uh, he's got the scrolls laid out. Oh, you tell me, Dr. Harrow, what you're doing.
If he's going, down the eighth floor hall, is it? He'll see, I'm in the door to the archives room will be open, and he can hear the squeaks and thuds of banker boxes being moved around as I'm flipping through these dusty things. Uh, if it's only been an hour, I'll still be at that point.
Okay, and we're all going to be meeting up for lunch in like 2 or 3 hours, if I remember correctly.
I invited everyone for supper, but I don't
Oh,
know
man,
exactly
misunderstood
what
that.
time we started.
Okay,
Remember when this meeting began, so I went
Yeah.
to dinner.
okay, yeah. So,
But if you don't tiptoe, then I'll invite you in to help me with my research.
well, the archive, I'm wondering, is that also where not just the scrolls, but like, is that where we also keep the more valuable relics and things like that so that we could study?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yes, I would make my way there. And
Okay.
I'm trying very hard to remember the entire layout of how I got here. I want to remember who I saw, how many people I saw, everything like that, if that's possible.
Yeah, the building itself is not it's pretty rectangular, so it's pretty easy to remember where things are. You
Okay.
become oriented to it. Um, so you were going into the archive. Sweet.
Ah, Dr. Harrow.
Dr. Green,
Hi, funny seeing you here.
is it? I think I made it clear that I was going to be working on the records.
It's been about an hour or so. I figured, might have got a little restless, just, finally being
Oh,
back home in civilization and able to go around. I didn't know how long you would be here in this place.
yeah. The thing is, Green, in addition to my uh, after my traditional training as a medico and service in the war, I have done some not inconsiderable research into matters arcane and unusual, thus the, moving things with my mind business. This is a greater resource for arcane material than I ever hoped to come across in my regular life. So I could spend any number of hours here, although the reason that I suggested we dine out later is because fatigue it reduces one's efficacy eventually, no matter how much enthusiasm one feels. I'm sure you know the same when you're comparing Hittite and Sumerian and learning that roots from the Indo-European or Proto-Indo-European languages somehow connect all the way to ancient Teutonic and whatnot. It must, fill your veins with fire.
It does certainly keep me going. I can say
Yes.
that. And
So
sometimes it's
is
so
this when you'd like
overwhelming.
to start looking at the charts I've made from the scrolls?
I would be interested in looking at the scrolls, the relics, the other items. I'm not sure if anyone mentioned this, but uh, I can't remember who was it. Was it Goose or was it Jack? No, it was Stony who had the scepter and that blacked out, right? And started seeing the visions of the snakes. And oh, it was Goose. Okay.
It was
Who was
Jack.
it?
It was me.
It
I
was
had
Jack.
visions of snakes.
Okay, because Dakota can't remember this, but I'm pretty sure Lloyd would remember seeing him like completely like glazing over and like dropping the relic and things like that. And yeah, I'm not sure if Jack ever mentioned it. It seemed like he was having a bit of an issue with collecting some of those items, and I was just curious to see what effects they might be having on other individuals and just curiosity's sake. see the haul that we brought back.
It is true. Each of the objects we brought back has any number of untold faculties. The staff did seem to keep the serpents at bay. It's possible, actually, we can now more effectively translate the mahogany cases each of the objects came in. Perhaps they even describe the efficacy or tell us about the source of their power or something. That seems like a worthy activity. I believe there's a pallet over there that has each of our recently recovered pieces under, burlap and whatnot, just to keep under sheeting to keep them dustless and whatnot. We could look at all of the cases. And even, did we bring back the crown case even though it was empty? Yes.
Brought all the cases.
Yes.
That'd be rather interesting.
Well,
Yes.
let's get to it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm good. I'm going to spend this time with Doctor. I'm going to actually try to learn a little bit, enough to get by,
Okay.
to keep everybody going. I don't know if I have to make a roll for that or anything, but
I'm suspicious enough after you made a beeline for the emerald that I'm gonna go along for a while, and I mean, just because he's a linguist doesn't mean that he can immediately memorize some strange new sounds and compare them to symbols. But after 10 minutes or 15 minutes, I'll just ask him, I'll make a little Latin joke, because I had to study some Latin for medicine. And, I'll just say, well, it's a hideous looking thing to me, but non disperandum est, eh?
So,
Gesundheit.
I mean,
De gustibus, I
Green,
mean.
you can roll. Don't you have Spanish?
I do, yeah.
You could roll Spanish, and if you get an extreme, you can decipher what he said in Latin, maybe
Oh, God.
based on the Spanish. Otherwise, you won't know what it means.
I'm gonna have to roll single digits on this, and they're not high single digits either. Okay.
That's okay. Dr. Green is not long for this world as a doctor.
That's rather ominous.
I mean, Lloyd might stay with us for months and months and years, but
Oh my God. I will spend 6 points of luck to make that an extreme.
it's cheap. It's a bargain at that
So
price.
you get the gist of what he said, what did you say?
De gustibus non disputandum est. There's no point in arguing taste.
So you guessed correctly what he said.
And probably, in fact, because I said it in a sort of jokey way, you can figure it out and be like, yes, there was no reason. You're right. Ha ha.
Yeah.
And my suspicions were temporarily allayed.
So we'll say that in the process of Dr. Harrow, you're trying to show him a little bit of translation. And the scrolls, I sent you a message. The scrolls are divided into 12 sections or 12 books, kind of like the Bible is. You've gotten that, and you've started to translate the chapter heads.
Oh, it's rather interesting.
Yes, I really, I wish they'd used we're going to have these photostated into a more useful format, because I really just hate having to wrangle this all the time. They're 14 feet long each, and I don't, but I think the relevant one will be book 8, which is where they describe some of their science, which, as far as I can tell, is the same as magic. But if these objects are imbued with some power, that might be where to look, although it's a great deal of material. There's a word here that, if I understand the phonetics correctly, is pronounced vormis or vormis. I don't have any idea about accents. I'm not even sure about vowels, but vrms of some kind. Um, and that appears to be a proper noun. You see, it's got the same stele around it that the marks for humans and reptile you do. You see this useful repeated pattern. Does that look right to you?
Maybe we should actually bring Tellen. I'm sure she could make real quick work of this and help us further understand this rather quickly.
I think we'd have to take it to her. They seem rather antsy about her moving freely about. I'm afraid that there's going to be a point at which she begins to feel imprisoned.
Well,
I don't think Shapiro said anything about there being any other current reptilians that aren't part of the inner night. I hope she's not the last of her kind. Seems extremely lonely.
well, I mean, we did see others that were like her, and so it would seem rather strange if they were the last, if she were the last of her kind
Well, she's
entirely.
been buried for a long time, and the inner night version seemed rather diminished compared to Her Majesty. Maybe she had access to special foods or something as a scientist. We really know so little. But let's choose one. Let's take the scepter and its case to see her.
Yes, I can do that. And yeah, well, yes, that sounds like a rather good idea. Here, I'll hold on to the scepter.
Careful with it. Oh, why don't we leave it in the case, of course, to carry it down?
Did you want to try to pick it up?
I don't know. Yeah.
So without thinking of it, you reach down and you pick up the scepter. All right. When you pick up the scepter, I would like you to do a power roll.
Okay. 60. So that's a pass.
No. How well? Just regular pass?
Just a regular pass.
Okay. So you touch it, and um the room around you for a moment gets kind of dim. It and flickery, almost as if you were being electrocuted. You can feel something inside you move out and go into the scepter, like energy. And when it does, you find yourself in sort of a jungle, and there are thousands of snakes, and they're moving towards you. But as they get close to you, they start circling you around. And in that moment, you sort of flicker back to reality, and you're fine. You feel as if you would be completely protected from snakes. That you've created kind of a barrier around you that would keep you safe. And the top of the staff is glowing slightly.
Huh.
You feel
That's
entirely
strange.
yourself.
I I don't feel too much more different.
Is he pallid or flushed or
Well, he's definitely sweating a little bit, as if something inside him is straining, but he seems able to not, he doesn't drop it. He doesn't freak out the way Jack did.
I think it's I think you might have activated it in some way. I mean, is it just me or is it giving off a faint light?
It is a little bright. Like, how is this mechanism even working? Like, there wasn't a switch. There's no gas. There's no. and I'm turning it upside down and looking all around it, trying to see if like there would be any mechanism that would create a light that makes sense besides magic.
Yeah, it's magic. Or it's a technology so advanced you don't know that it doesn't look like magic.
Dr. Harrow, would you like to? And I extend it to him. Oh, come on,
Well,
it doesn't bite.
you know, uh, uh, I'll sit down before I pick it up in case I also become faint. The last thing we want to do is drop an artifact like this. And then I'll sit down and put my arms out.
You can also do a power roll.
It would make sense. It would be weird if I didn't have to. Luckily, that's only a regular pass. I rolled 89 under 90.
Ooh,
So,
close.
like,
Well, you
You
get
got
the
big power.
shivers. You definitely feel like something is sucked out of you. By the way, Lloyd, it's magic points. So
That-
Oh,
you've lost. We'll say I don't. How much is it? Well, for now we'll say it's 5. You lose 5 magic points.
and that's
Um,
why I was asking about his appearance, because I'm going to recognize that sensation because every time I use telekinesis, I feel that special weakness.
You feel that, yeah, and you have the same sort of vision. It's as if the snakes. You're not really sure that the snakes would obey you, but they definitely would never attack you.
Did you also see something, Lloyd?
I had a momentary vision, if you could call that. There were serpents all around my feet, but they wouldn't come too terribly close.
And that jungle looked nothing like Bolivia. I'm guessing that was an ancient place. Well, let's put this in the case then. We know it does in fact do something. Oh, and I am a little enervated by it. I wouldn't carry that for long for fear of being completely depleted. Uh,
You
uh,
feel too that there's maybe something more to it, but you don't have any idea what it is. Do you look around at other artifacts?
my inclination, because I'm more scientific, is now that we know this does a thing and we have the inscription on the thing, let's take it to the person who can help us understand it rather than just start grabbing everything until we inadvertently electrocute ourselves, as it were.
Well, he didn't pass out, so I didn't get a chance to raid the closet. So
1 point.
you could have spent luck. You would have been fine. 90.
It's true.
Man,
Yeah. Yeah, that's my thing. That's partly why I can afford the other stuff.
So I'm going to have you both roll stealth.
stealth.
Yeah, I'll tell you why in a second.
Didn't put anything in that.
I didn't think it was necessary. I'm walking around very smiley and confident.
I rolled a 16 under 20, but
Oh my
Good.
stealth for 2 usually doesn't work.
So, Dr. Haro, you're going to take it to see Tiranish, yes?
Yeah, in the case.
As you walk by Shapiro's office, nothing happens. But when Dr. Green passes by, you hear Shapiro yell out, don't take anything out of the archives without Connor's permission.
Right.
Yes,
Sorry,
there's no worry about that.
we weren't thinking of the protocol. We were just going to Tiranish. But yes, we'll speak to Connor right away.
All right. And he doesn't seem too concerned. So, all right. So you guys are headed down.
Where is
Fern, what are
Connor?
you up to?
Connors is the
Okay.
quartermaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you up to, Fern?
So Fern's very excited to have found these spores, and she's put them in an enclosed dish. And when they sent her protective gear down, it was like 3 sizes bigger than what she would normally wear. So she is draped in this like apron and lab coat that's almost dragging the floor, and she has a respirator, but she's like, oh, and she's running down the hall to the elevator. And I imagine she gets on the elevator and someone's standing there, and she just looks ridiculous in this outfit, standing there, elevator music playing. And she just looks over at the other person like, and they just slowly descend to the next floor. And then she gets out and hurriedly goes to Buzz to show him.
So, Buzz, you guys are still downstairs with the machine. And Fern comes in.
Miss
Buzz!
Meadows.
Yeah, I've got this thing on my face still. You might not be able to understand her. Buzz, I found spores.
You found Moors?
Oh, oh, damn it. She like takes it off. I found some spores in the toxins. I, it might tell us where they came from.
Oh, we just got this machine working. Is that, I mean, like, do you want to put it in there? And it might, I mean, I put my blood in there and it told me I have anemia and I need to eat more red meat. So
Oh
it could
yeah, my
probably
granny
tell,
has that.
it could
Liver.
probably tell a lot of
Eat some
things.
liver. Yeah. Well, let's do it. How does it work?
Well, I mean, you just drop it in this dish, and then I kind of look at Stony as like it just reads it and
Oh,
then tells you on this screen, and then it's also going to give us words and Noctol. So we're learning more about that at the same time to give to Dr. Green. We're making notes.
well, they're so tiny. I mean, I hope it'll work.
It's a
She
good
ha
test either way.
she has them in distilled water, so
His
they should
isolate.
just
Okay.
they should just drop right into the machine.
Okay. So you drop them into the machine. This time the machine works rather quickly. It whirs, it makes some dinging noises, and then all of a sudden, it starts displaying Naakal. Just everything is in Naakal. Like it doesn't know how to say any of this in English to identify this spore, but you get the impression it's from some plant. And it starts to give you references like this reference is something else, and so forth. As you sort of pursue that information, you start to get some language that you do understand. And it says that the plant is a native species to a continent that doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't say it that way, but it's giving you, I don't know, coordinates. You're able to work this all out with the primer and stuff. But apparently there was a continent between Africa and India that's not there anymore. And it was from there. Otherwise, it's no known species of anything that's on Earth right now.
Well, this plant is extinct, I would say by now. Everything that it would have been growing on is underwater.
Is it a plant that would grow underwater?
No, no, no. This would have been maybe when Pangea the continents were together, but this is a part of the land that's no longer. There's nothing between Africa and India anymore. It's all underwater now.
Well, where did you get these spores from?
Those toxins that Shapiro gave me, I extrapolated them
Oh.
from him. Yeah.
That's
What
wild.
What were those toxins?
Oh, they did all sorts of things like melt your skin off or make you explode and stuff like that. That's why I got the get up on. I didn't
Oh,
want to get any on me.
well, that's terrifying. That I wish I had a get up on. I, which one is this specifically?
Well, I think they were in each one. I just noticed them kind of suspended.
So my skin could have melted off and then exploded if I touched it.
Well, it was in distilled water, hun.
Oh,
I think you were safe.
okay.
Gustav, what are
What's
you up to? I know you're down here, but
Well, after they analyze my blood and everything, doesn't seem that they need me anymore. So I might just go up to Mr. Frank DeLuca, I think, the security agent,
okay.
security, and see if I can get Tyrannish some more privileges.
All right. So what you end up having to do, you start to encounter the security of the building. Um, you can go up to 8th floor, and there is I don't know what you'd call him, a secretary. He's not really a secretary. He's sort of like a minor guard. Um, we'll call him um, Caden Owen is his name. And he explains to you that if you need to speak to Mr. DeLuca, we'll have to page him. Uh, he's usually on the 17th or 18th floor. He'll have to come down. Is it important?
Yeah.
All right, you better hope so, because he doesn't fool around. Uh, I'll put in the call. Have a seat over there.
And I'll take a seat and patiently wait.
Can I ask you what it's about?
Um, it's about our special guest.
Oh, okay. Give me a minute. So as you're sitting there, he makes a phone call. You can hear that he's kind of getting the runaround, you know. Eventually, maybe 15 minutes go by, and he says, all right, he's on his way down. He'll be here in a few minutes. And after another minute or so, the elevator door opens, and he walks in, and he looks at you and he says, Mr. DuPont, what can I do for you?
Yes, Mr. DeLuca. I had a request to make of you. Uh, I've been talking to Tyrannish, and she's been helping me a lot with my hybridization, so to say. And she wants to help me. She wants to teach me more about how I can change into people's skins and be more useful for Caduceus in general. Only she does not have all the tools or things she would need to help me with that. So I would like to request for her to be given a little more privileges to move around in the building.
No. Is that it?
I have the smooth talker trait. I could try and roll something maybe, or see if I can persuade him somehow, see if I can find a way in.
If you can persuade me, and I mean me, not you're gonna have to give me a good reason for him to. He's head of security, so
Well, can I say that maybe Dr. Harrow and Dr. Green contacted via our communicators about the scepter and everything, that I want to get her into the archive there so she can help with pointing things out and translating stuff or something like that.
No. Look, I get what you're trying to do. But at present, security is not going to allow something like that. You have access to her. Um, if you want her to look at something, go through Connors and take it to her. But for right now, it's not permanent, but for right now, she's got to stay where she is.
And how long will right now take?
Until
We
it
don't want her
until
to get, she's helpful and useful right now. We don't want that to change, right? So best to keep her satisfied as well.
well, you keep her satisfied then. But I'm afraid she has to stay put. We can't have her wandering around. She's an unknown factor,
I
at
mean,
least for now.
so are we. We can just go many places here, but
Oh, you
okay.
think that you think that you aren't being observed at all times. You
Well,
most certainly are.
if if we can be observed all times, so can she.
Honestly, I'm not worried about any of you except perhaps Mr. Green. Um,
What makes you
that's why
say
I've got a
that?
man following him.
Okay. What makes you so concerned about him?
I don't trust him.
In what way or why?
Well, he's a fairly well-known con man. Um, I would yet I think that he has his uses.
Hmm.
He's
Okay.
here for not he's perhaps here for the reasons why you don't have any idea. And now if you'll excuse me, I
That's
have
good to
work
know.
to do.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much for your time and good luck with whatever you're
And
doing.
as he walks away, you can tell he's been polite to you, but at this point he's like, fuck, son of a bitch, as he walks away and wasting my fucking time. And he gets in the elevator and disappears.
Okay. That might have not been the best course of action, but one doesn't know until one tries. Um, I'll go and get another bouquet of flowers, like the biggest I can find for Tiranish, and just, try and keep her happy. And tell her I'm sorry I tried, but this effing guy just won't budge.
Okay. Do you guys have anything you want to do, or shall we move on towards the evening?
I mean, I probably, radio everybody. It was like, hey, we got this working. If
Yeah,
you want to run your
Dr.
blood through
Gonsalves
it.
comes down. He he's delighted. He's
Yeah.
absolutely fucking delighted. He
I'm
says
interested.
this can help in so many different ways.
Yeah, it I got some blood in it, and it told me I need to eat more red meat. So, do you know
Well,
anything about these coordinates or I mean, we have a lot of information to pass along to Dr. Green. We have like 30 to 40 words that surely will assist him in deciphering this language.
well,
But did any of this mean
it's a
anything to you?
it's fascinating. Of course, we haven't completely translated the language ourselves. Um, the the oh, the serpent lady should be helping us in some of this. However, some of this I don't understand at all, but I do think that these are referencing locations that no longer exist. Um, we've identified at least two places that perhaps were handed down to us via mythology. You've heard of the island of Atlantis that sunk beneath the waves. There are a couple of interesting continents that people have talked about that we find occasionally references to. I believe the one between Madagascar and India was named Lemuria. Um, they called it that because the scientists who were working on identifying animal populations, they realized that lemurs were found in Madagascar and they were found in India, but nowhere in between. So they surmised that there must have been a connection between the two, a continent in between. Where it went, I guess it sunk beneath the waves. And the other mythical island that we have determined is mentioned was off the United States coast, out in the Pacific Ocean. Um, it's usually referred to as the island of Mu, but both of them may have existed at one point. There's no
Island
way of knowing.
of Moo?
Yeah, Mu, Mu.
Mu. Okay.
I know it sounds like a cow.
It
But,
does. That was
yeah.
my thought.
Perhaps you could call it Mew, but now
Mew.
it sounds like a cat.
I mean, we're outside of my areas of expertise, but it is fascinating, that whole land masses just sink below the ocean, I guess. And we have plant or to Miss Meadows spores of plants. The science is above me a little bit on
Right,
there.
spores. But
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe we could have Tyrannish look at the readout since it's a nah call, and she could tell us exactly what plant it's from.
Well, we don't have a way to print out but you can perhaps copy it. It's a hassle.
Oh, I'll
Um,
just write it down real quick.
okay.
She's got a good
Um,
memory.
yes, excellent. I'm glad that you've fixed this. This will come in use for a lot of our medical needs, uh, identifying things and so forth. Um, have you seen Mr. DuPont? I believe he's currently in transition.
Yeah, he was down here. We got some of his blood. I mean, as you probably know, we can't like reverse what's happening to him. We could maybe accelerate it some way. Again, that's kind of beyond my area of expertise, but
Well, there are chemical ways to trigger the
yeah.
effect. Yes.
Yeah, and I don't know
Um,
why y'all had to go and cut his foot. I could have brought you a syringe.
That's what he asked for, right? I mean, he offered his foot because he didn't want it to be a spot where, someone would easily see this.
I chose a good spot. It's hardly noticeable. Very small.
I don't know where he went off to, but I think we're all
well,
supposed to meet up for dinner somewhere, in the city.
thank you for your work. I see that you've made a whole lot of scribbles in my manual. Um, I'll I'll look into those and revise the manual. Um, thank you. Well done. Good work.
Yeah, there's a lot of that manual is a lot of fluff. You could probably cut that down by quite a bit.
Well, perhaps we'll work on that together. I'm not quite a writer, but
Oh, me neither. I barely looked at the manual. I just kind of poked and stuff, and then when I got done with it, Sony got in there and crossed the right wires, and it told us blood was blood and oil was oil.
excellent. And he says, "Well, keep up the good work." And he turns around and he leaves. Gustav, what were you doing next? Were you going to go back downstairs where they are, or something else? Gustav.
Sorry. So just get something nice for Tyrannish and
Okay.
try and, you know, see if she needs anything else. Maybe if she has some knowledge already for
All
my
right.
transformation, stuff like that, you know.
How about the rest of you? Were you going to go? You're going to go see her as well? Some of you?
Yes.
All right.
Dr. Harrow and I, for sure.
So we'll say that the three of you arrive just about the same time for plot convenience. And you knock and you go inside, and Tyrannish is there. And she has a set of, they've given her like oil paints, and she has whitewashed out some of the stuff on the walls, and she is repainting stuff. And she says, "Oh, hello. Just fixing the crap that they've put on my walls. History, you know. What can I do for you? Ah, you've brought me flowers. How nice."
Yeah, I tried to get you more privileges, but this Frank DeLucas is a pretty hard ass. He said not for now.
He wasn't the most kind individual, was he?
Uh, and I kind of look suspicious at Mr. Green and say, no, though he, you know, seems to take his job very seriously, the security of this facility and everything in regards to that.
Security, as if I posed some threat.
Well,
Well,
there's
you were an unknown entity, is I think the words he used. Or
there's also the concern, I imagine, that since all of humanity is completely misled about its nature and history, your appearance on the streets of Manhattan would be an extremely disordering force. So, to that extent, I appreciate their concern. Uh, well, certainly, you can't be imprisoned here. There's no right to do that. But while you are here and we are attempting to deal with this menace, Dr. Green and I, at Dr. Green's suggestion, since I've made some little progress translating some of these scrolls, I was going to try to employ the eighth scroll, which I believe is regarding advances in the manipulation of materials, to how these artifacts work. And we started with the scepter, and each of us holding it had visions of, I assume, an ancient land of yours. Uh, and it sapped us somewhat of our extra material essence and began to glow. And then there's all this text on the cases. So I'm wondering if we can learn how to use this artifact and what its powers and limitations are.
Well, you saw part of it functioning when we were in the temple. It had partially activated because of the temple's reactivation. It's not only a protection from serpents, poisonous serpents and so forth, but it also summons them. It calls them. Every serpent within a large radius will come to wherever the staff is.
We each held it rather briefly, but does that mean that across the river into New Jersey, a number of snakes felt a sudden compulsion?
I don't know how far away that is.
Only a
Few short miles.
yes.
In trying to work out distances, I'll give you the statistic that if you spend 10 magic points, you can summon every snake within about a mile radius.
So we certainly freaked out Central Park.
There
How
are snakes, yeah.
there's all kinds of wildlife there. Uh, will they continue to try to find the staff after it's no longer being held?
No,
Does the compulsion list? So they probably left their day's activities, probably mostly sleeping, and began heading in this direction. I hope we haven't caused much distress.
well, they don't move that fast, but yes. It works better when you're in a jungle environment, obviously. You can
Yeah.
suddenly be surrounded by thousands of poison snakes.
Yeah, well, and there's not a lot of venomous reptilia anywhere in this part of the world. It's just too chilly.
She says I think we discussed this before, that the crown allows a measure of control over serpents, of serpentines, anything, including serpent people, um, and other forms. But and the whip is for the vormis.
I
It
thought that
causes extreme pain without
I
physical damage. Yeah.
I saw that name in the scroll. I hoped I was pronouncing it correctly. What I don't know what that is though. Is that an individual or a caste or?
She turns around and points to the wall where she's been painting. It's the giants.
That constructed the
The
civilization.
constructors, yeah, the ones that constructed. She says, to explain them, you have to understand, you have to bear in mind that the serpent civilization is 240 million years old. So along the way, they learned that the serpent people learned how to manipulate biologies, hence the hybridization ability. The Vormis were an experiment in creating a more effective, and she says, I know you don't like the word, but remember, we're talking about millions of years ago, a slave race to do all the heavy lifting and all the hard work. And to the best of her knowledge, they don't exist anymore. They were used and then they were let go. The humans probably also were, your primitive ancestors were also probably used as a slave race, in the same way that you use cattle or goats or horses or anything like that. Moralities change over time. So things change. You can't blame your direct aversion to slavery, which is understandable, based on your modern history, which I'm now starting to learn some of.
Don't go too quickly. It gets fairly awful fairly quickly.
Well, and we all know that it's far more complicated than what you actually get written down. And everybody has their opinion. The winners write the histories.
For that matter, all of us mammals are such recent critters as far as you're concerned. We just came up after your civilization was destroyed by the cold, so I wouldn't hold anything in regard like, if I were in your position, I imagine. Some upstart, the cockroaches took over after some cataclysm. I wouldn't think I had to treat them nicely.
Yeah, you mentioned book 8. She says, I think humans are first mentioned as far back as maybe 5 million years ago, but they're not humans like you. They were your ancestors' ancestors. But they're definitely talked about in book 8.
Well, and
because by that, yeah, she said that's about 500,000 years ago.
I was drawn to that scroll because it seemed to be the one that promised the most in terms of technologies. And I'd like to figure out how these things can be used or how they should avoid being misused. More importantly, Dr. Green was eager to dig through all of the crates and see what every gewgaw did, but it's my impression that one should take these things slowly. I felt about a third of my essence sapped out by just touching the scepter for a moment.
Yeah, it'll do that to you. It definitely needs energy to function.
But
What
while we
you've
have you,
touched upon is a very important scientific point, and that's that all of the science and all of the intelligence of the species uh, doesn't seem to be a cure for different factions. You have what you call now the Inner Night and the Yigians and who knows what other groups there are. In your world, you seem to have multiple religions all believing different things. The only way to make things work correctly is to control them all in some way. To unite everyone together to a common understanding of things.
I was concerned for a moment that your dreamland English was confused. Control them all sounds like domination in our modern parlance, whereas uniting would be rather a different event.
The yes, perhaps the difficulty is my understanding of your language. You want everyone to be in agreement as to what is best,
at least a majority.
and not religious folk.
Well,
That's always causes problems.
disagreement can breed innovation, right?
Well, scientists are always disagreeing on what, but once you know how something works, then you know how it works, right?
Yeah, but you can always question why it works like that. You can always dig deeper levels of knowledge or science or
Yes, as long as it doesn't impede civilization itself, I'd agree.
And if it were to, what would come of it?
Well, having been around for having been in a civil in a been I mean having belonging to something that's 240 million years old, we've seen the rise and fall of empires. We've seen sometimes sometimes no matter what you do, no matter how wonderful things are, um, read book 6, um, the Great Cataclysm. Sometimes a giant rock falls out of the sky and just smashes it all. You can only do what you can do and hope that the universe doesn't decide to squish you out.
and if you were at the top and things not everybody was agreeing or there was strife, how would you envision a solution? What would you do to those people who don't agree with you or the prevailing ideology?
Well, I'm speaking, I mean, there wouldn't be anyone that would disagree. We're talking about an idealism. It sounds impossible, but perhaps science will find a way so that everybody will understand.
It
And
sounds kind of icky. Like disagreements and everything might not be you don't experience them as being good, but they do bring a lot of good out of them sometimes, you know. If everybody was the same, life would be very boring.
I think there's a variety of things for each person to be, but as long as they are contributing to the whole, then their lives could be wonderful. Imagine a world without war, a world without conflict. I mean, yes, you might disagree with a philosophy, but when a philosophy is wrong, religion, then it only causes problems. You believe a great deal in people's rights to being free and at liberty, but look at nature. The insects, something as primitive as the insects, have been around longer than both of us. And some of them are organized into perfectly organized societies where they all do their job and who's to say they're not happy? And at that, I think we'll end it. That's a interesting thought to end it on. And now where is my...
We're definitely learning a lot more about her from her philosophy point of view. There might be a reason why she's inside this room.
Our players included Cohen Lighton, Carrie Marion, Kent Blue, Julian Arba, Dakota Poole, and David Gasaway, with yours truly as a keeper of arcane lore. We have a Discord server where you can chat with other members, and you can set up private games and learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Spotify, Podbean, or iTunes. Support for the shows provided by our patrons who are listed in the closing credits. If you'd like to show us your appreciation, please visit our Patreon page, or you can use the thanks button just below the screen. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Thom Raley, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Pulp Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.